Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Good morning. Welcome to Pimlico Racecourse. Keith Fustel alongside me. I'm Naomi Tucker. Keith, how are we doing today? Big race day yesterday. How did we pull up?
Yeah, we did well. I like the card. We had a couple winners there, and Miami Mumbles I thought would be a little bit better price for us as that single in that
Good
pick
single
four.
there.
But yeah, some good exciting races. Obviously, we'll get the field past a couple of other races in the lightning round, but a good day of racing, some exciting finishes. I'm looking forward to closing out the weekend.
Yeah, let's finish off strong here, shall we?
Yep.
Match series coming up next week, though. It's back-to-back stakes action here at Old Hilltop. Pimlico Racecourse is, having a good time here. We keep putting on these tremendous races, especially highlighted by the local colony here in the Mid-Atlantic. 3 races worth $100,000 each, all part of the match series, which is just a tremendous incentive here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we talked about it from a betting standpoint, as a fan standpoint, you get familiar with some horses. Some rivalries do develop during this period, during the match series. So, yeah, something to look forward to every few weeks.
I agree. Let's look at the track condition. You can already see it in that upper right-hand corner. We're on a fast dirt track, a firm turf track, and the temperatures are, holding steady around that sort of 80 Fahrenheit mark.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more stuffy today, doesn't it, out here? We've got a little help from our fan, but that's about it. But warm. I know later this evening maybe we might have some showers in the area, but I think we're going to get through the racing card just fine. Turf course, firm, definitely speed's kind of carrying a little bit more. I'm taking a shot on a closer in a sprint race. I might not be the right thing to do, but we're going to take a shot. I think there's enough speed to set it up. But all in all, though, dirt's playing fair.
I think it also depends, like when you're talking about these turf races, it depends the pace setup. For example, in the Eagle Derby yesterday, we saw Indian Lake win front right because Ruben slowed them all down and then kicked clear. Exactly how you ride sort of a longer race on turf. I don't think it was particularly the track that gave him that extra edge. It was the fact that he wasn't doing that much up front.
No, he got away with it very slowly. When the Gary Cap horse took back, Shackle Love took under a rating hold and allowed Indian Lake to go clear. I was doing the chart and I said, it's over.
I looked at that
it's
and I
over.
thought,
they went about a 16th of a mile. It's over. So, that horse is game. He knows how to win. And we talked about it again, a $5,000 purchase. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can get into this game for a lower level. Now, the monthly cost you're going to have to deal with. Work a group of people together. But, there's horses that can be found for, I say, bargain basement prices for 5,000. Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about as well?
Yeah.
That kind of hope that you find a star for a low price, and they'll take you to these, stakes class events.
It can be done. And, you get the right guidance, the right people around you. You don't have to go out and spend 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 on a horse. You can get involved at a pretty fair price.
Yeah, agreed there. Let's get going with this 8-race card today. First race of the day starts the early pick 5, and this is claiming nickel level numbers to lifetime, Mao and 16 on the main track. And we use similar horses here, but we'll start with your top selection, the number 6, Clever and Great for trainer Claudio Gonzalez. Quick turnaround here for this 3-year-old gelding. We see him there 8 days ago, breaking from the inside. He was off to a good start. But then one of the horses, the 6, came over, and he was asked by Kevin Gomez to kind of take back. Well, you see his reaction here.
Yeah.
He's not agreeing.
Well, lost, and he stumbled, kind of just lost momentum there, and that was it. Had to check, and really got out of kilter from there. Just didn't bring a finish. Big race, 2 races back at a big, big price. Rarely will you get an 18-1 Claudio Gonzalez winner, but you got that on June 26th here at Pimlico. I think Clever and Great with another break like that. Let's just go ahead and go. I don't think he's going to have to deal with a horse. Obviously, again, he's outside. Maybe he kind of drafts over and tries to take position away from another runner to his inside. But I think he's going to be all systems go from the outside.
Well, what I learned from that replay was that he didn't enjoy being crowded by other horses. You can see he just never really settled for Kevin and was just using a lot of energy by fighting him a little bit. And you can see Kevin is just trying to nurse him, trying to be like, hey, it's okay. We'll chill here, relax, and we'll make our run. That outside gate is going to help him tremendously.
I would think he's going to be able to relax.
That means that if he is keen, Kevin can let him slide up, and there's no one in his way, and there's no sort of forced actions being taken with this. So I think that's going to help him quite a lot. And Claudio Gonzalez's 8-day turnaround is pretty solid too. Yeah. When they come back that soon, they tend to be very, very fit and ready to roll again.
Here's a little stat too for this kind of drop when he does this move, more than a 50% or more drop and goes long on the dirt. He's 40% with this kind of move over the last 3 years.
That is
strong.
I knew you have a good stat for me. We got another one coming up. They tend to do quite well. I use Pat's Factor on top for trainer Dale Capuano. You're kind of going on that maiden score 2 starts back. The only problem is that wasn't a big field. There's only a field of 4. Didn't beat that much there. But the number held up, and he was involved in this prolonged duel, which is something that I like to see. It means that they're not shying away from a fight, and they show a little bit of, racehorse mentality.
Got things squared away a little bit a few races back as well. He tried to bolt, he did bolt back at Laurel. The extension blinker's going on. He's run a little bit truer, so that's helped him. Turf to dirt, you saw that stat if you've got the daily racing form of your program. 41% for Dale Capuano. Some really strong percentages here playing in the favor of a couple of our top trainers.
Yeah, that's not an angle that everyone is particularly good at. It can be tricky if you have an out-and-out turf horse. Then putting them on the dirt doesn't always work. So for Dale, he might try the turf and go, actually, you know what, this horse is better suited going on the main track, and clearly puts the right kind back. It gives them a try on it, moves them back, and is very successful with them. Both of us also have some interest in the number 2, Stand My Ground, who ran behind, very in-form Shaka style. But I must admit, just looking at, some of his last performance, it has to do better here.
He has to do a little bit better. The number's got to come up, and he's got to get a little more help up front. Maybe, just maybe Pat's Factor, Clever and Great, and Galley Nipper, I think, is going to be forward, get engaged, and speed things up a little bit on the front end. That's the kind of trip he's going to need to get if he's going to get in the winner's circle.
Race number 2 will be our first race on the turf. Mao and 16, the distance, maiden claiming 40,000. And an early pick 4 ticket by me today. I just liked a couple of horses in here and in this sequence, so I decided to go for it. My top selection is the 5 in here, Anti-Poison. Love Rip It, though. I've been chasing him the whole time, so trying to give him a chance again. I go 3 deep in race 3, 4 deep in race number 4. But then in race number 5, I just scratch it down to 2 horses in that sprint race. The 5, Doobie, is my top selection. And then on the outside, I didn't want to sit on Frankie Murch, who was supposed to run on Friday. Scratched a run in here instead. higher claiming price, but I think this might just work for him. And there's a reason they decided to opt for this race instead of the Friday one. $24 flat ticket starting in race number 2, that maiden claiming a 40 level. Let's talk about our selection here. And let's start with the horse that I have been chasing since Preakness week, the number 4, Rip It. He's by Tapper. He's out of Riposte. Last time out at Pimlico, right here on the turf. He got it just a little bit too close to the front group there. Alexander Crispin aboard had to really take him back, and it didn't help him with his momentum. And then when going into the home turn, he was still waiting to make a move.
Yeah, we've kind of got an extended, maybe a little video here. You see Rip It right there, just steadies along for about a 1/16 of a mile, maybe more than that. And he just never really got an opportunity to run. He was stalled in traffic for a long period of time. We're going to see him try to edge up here into the far turn. He's just sitting there playing the waiting game.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can't do that. It's just too tough to overcome. Horses to your outside will get that momentum. If a horse can slip through the inside, they just get the jump. But watch him again here. He's just stalled. Cosmicality had everything his way on the front end, battled back to win this. Here you go again. Look at this in the yellow cap. Even just a steady right there, finding absolutely nowhere to go past the 5/16 pole. Yeah, we'll watch it continue.
Look, I'm still waiting for him to get
there.
That
you go.
win
There's
more.
another steady. How many?
How
we
many
need a
can
counter.
we
can we get that, Phil? Maybe up on the
5 times now.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Look,
we'll
the
get the
reason
counter.
that I've been on board with this horse for since Preakness week is he's royally bred. He was, a Judmont brand. Dame Riposte is out of Rainbow Lake, making her a half sister to Kind, the dam of one of the best horses of my generation in Franco. So impeccably bred, was living up to his billing when he was with Christophe Clement. Has significantly improved every time he got on the turf, though. Especially if I saw just looking at this, it wasn't his race. It wasn't working out for him. I don't have him on top, but I'm still using him in second because if he hits, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, he looks like he's kind of tough to leave out of your exactas and trifectas, no doubt. The 2-back race was good. Mr. Shades of Gary has won on the turf since. You're talking about horses you chase. I've been chasing Irishman around. First time gelding today. I was really disappointed in his dirt race. Last out, he was against the grain of the racetrack on the 29th. I'll forgive him for that try. But his turf races, numbers work. Finish positions, not great, but that field he faced February the 13th down at Gulfstream was a pretty salty race. The winner came back to an allowance race in Kentucky. The 7th place finisher came back to run a 69 buyer. The 9th place finisher, a 68 buyer. Those kind of figures, he was sandwiched right in between, will win this race. So Irishman, that might be the key. I also think he's a horse that when you watch him run, could use blinkers. I'm no trainer. It's just, I just thought he looked like a horse that blinkers might help him as well. But we'll go first-time gelding angle on the 1 Irishman. I think Broadway Melody stretching out is dangerous. You look at the family. The mare did well going long. Half the Judy Blue Eyes we know can go long on the turf, and another runner that did well long on the turf. Broadway Melody is going to be around. I've got this horse lined, I think, too high at 8-1. We'll take can we get 5 or 6 on Broadway Melody? I hope so. So there's my speed thread in here. 1, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah, I used the 5 on top, though, Anti-Poison. It was that same race as Rip It came out of. They weren't holding back up front. They were pretty strong fractions. He was right there. Continued quite gamely, wasn't on the right lead. I'm hoping for a little bit more improvement because that was his first time back on the turf after a long time. So I'm thinking, okay, he just had to find his footing again, and he'll do better next time out as we move along to race number 3, claiming 16,000 to 12,500, 6 furlong sprinting race. Rainbow Pick 6 start here. No carryover though, right, Keith?
31,000 somebody took home yesterday.
But
so good
extra
job.
Medium.
Yeah, I mean the pick 6 and then our pick 4s and pick 5s all paid well yesterday. So if you didn't play, shame on you because I mean there was some money given away yesterday.
Can't sit on those Rainbow Pick 6, especially on a day like yesterday with so many big priced winners. All of a sudden, you do indeed. We had 3 single tickets in that last race.
And they weren't. When you look back, and we always look back at Redboard a little bit. They weren't impossible. I feel terrible not using. I went 5 deep, didn't use Can the Queen, a horse that I used in its most previous race. Had trouble in that, but I really like the rail horse in there. Now the name's escaping me. The horse that ran second. So I did catch a little exacta wheel on top and bottom, but yeah, I let that one go. But they were makeable horses. There wasn't anything like terribly impossible.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, and it was a wonderful day, and I'm glad someone walked away with 31 grand. I hope they come back and play again, and we'll build up to a nice little pot. Race number 3, though, 6 furlong the distance. We'll start with your top selection in here. Alpha Chi Row for trainer Kieran McGee. First off the claim. I mean, terrific stats for Kieran McGee. First off the claim, excuse me, trainer change.
Yep.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, I've got a stat here with this kind of move. This horse off time hasn't been seen since late January at Charlestown. And Kieran, though, when he kind of makes this move, starter allowance, a little combo here stat, 29% over the last 3 years with his dirt runners when he does this in Maryland. 257 your ROI. There is some speed in here. Alpha Cairo, I'm projecting improvement in the barn, an aggressive kind of move here for Kieran McGee. He's run against the right kind, even his old horse, Palatial Times, the King Cheek. We know who's good for Jamie Ness. So his run against the right kind. He doesn't necessarily need the lead. He's got Charlie Marquez, can go, get position. If he has to measure the speed, I think he can. I think the biggest threat off the pace is the 3, Talbot.
See, now, this is an interesting race because you can see we're kind of spread out here. But Alpha Chi Row, look at that gap on the work tab, though. 6th of May, 18th of July. Do we worry about that?
There was another one. If I went on Formula, July 11th, there was a 5/8 and 101 and 4 that I did see. Just didn't show up on the paper version here.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's a good point because I tried to look one up again and I didn't see it. So that's why
I got the special version. The more advanced, the hidden stats version.
Well, I just expected a lot of 2-minute legs kind of deal, which we tend to see with a lot of trainers. You know, if you do wonder why there aren't that many works, they could have had them 2-minute licking, and that's not officially a fast work, so that wouldn't always showed up. But the horse comes in here with a good bit of fitness, so good to know that there was another work in between. But of course, Kieran McGee with such strong stats will always deliver them with a good bit of fitness on the belt. I used Dr. Rusty Raymond underneath. Upwards move there, but just looking at his last couple of races, he tries every single time, hoping to maybe get a little bit of a price in here.
That race, Naomi, was visually more impressive than the 61 Buyer. I looked at some other handicapping tools, and it came up big, that race. So 10 flat for the winner. Dr. K was a dropper, a bigger dropper that brings a lot of speed to the table from New York for Rudy Rodriguez. So he was game all the way around. He's going to have to do that chasing deal again, I think, with Quist. Warm, sunny breeze. The flow should be good in this race. That's why I do fear Talbot from off the pace. I watched that race last time at Monmouth. The speed just went away early. It happens in these Monmouth races. As soon as this horse was gathering momentum, he was caught up in behind horses coming to the wire. Gets a little extra 16th of a mile. Angel Cruz, I think, is your threat from off the pace.
Yeah, see, I had Talbot higher in the beginning, and then I dropped him back down. The extra furlong might help him here, but he just seems to be, to me, he seems more comfortable on turf.
He does. He's a little bit better, it looks like, overall. He hasn't won on the dirt, but he's 5 or 6 right in the money. He's hit the board quite a bit. Yeah.
But hence I saw an opportunity to perhaps go a little bit against him in this spot. I ended up using your top selection in second. Race number 4. 5 furlongs sprinting on the turf. Start of the late pick 5 as well. Race number 4, maiden 16 claimers. Now, we know that these kind of levels can sometimes come up with a big prize winner, but let's start with the number 2, Gleaming Sword. That was the same race as Smitten Enough. And in that last bit, we're looking at the start here with him first, and then we'll pick up on Smitten Enough later because he just had a slight stumble. But he recovered well, though. You can see maybe missed out about a length and a half.
Yeah.
Still went with them, still showed speed. I think that was a good job by Geraldo, kind of holding him up there and making sure that he didn't lose out too much.
Yeah, and both of these horses, Smitten Enough and Gleaming Sword, my angle at like outside to inside if they show a little bit of speed, which they did. Gleaming Sword showed that speed after the stumble. Smitten Enough showed some early speed, then kind of drafted back, dropped inside, and came wide for the drive. But Gleaming Sword recovers, goes about 5 wide top of the stretch, and just keeps chugging along. Can't get past Crack the Safe late, and you saw Smitten Enough in the orange, so little green just kind of laying in a little bit. You see it again. Did that move at the top of the stretch as well on the left lead, but willingly to the wire. I think both of these horses, given a good break, have to get involved into the turn to avoid being shuffled back. I think the 10, who was also in that race, you've got this horse in the mix as well for Damon Dilla DeVico. Lost Uncle encountered a good bit of trouble. I should have had that highlighted. Checked it to 3/8, steadied a little bit upper stretch, but willing to the wire. did encounter several lengths of trouble. Take that into consideration. Looked like he was handling the turf okay. We're going to get Charlie Marquez this afternoon.
I agree with you there on Lost Uncle. I watched that back. He kind of got the worst of that bump when he was carried out wide and his momentum was taken away. So didn't want to sit on him for trainer Damon Delodovico. But I agree with what you said about the rail horse here, Smitten enough. Just a bit green. Josh Beltran had to keep him straight instead of fully riding him out. So what I was hoping is that if we see an improved, more mature individual turn up here from that try last time out, maybe Joshua this time can focus more on driving him home because he comes with a rally. He does try. He is on the rail, though. Wonder where he's going to be placed because he hangs inwards. So the rail's going to guide him, but if he has other horses come over on him, is he going to get a run? That's my only worry here.
That's the key. I think he has to be aggressive. Get him out. We've seen horses like that sometimes. If they get the lead and just they use the rail almost as their friend. Yeah. They just skim it and just keep on going. I remember called a Sheldon Russell horse like that at Laurel at a big price for O'Dwyer. But Smitten enough. And you go back to the two-back race. Had good speed going longer. It's there. He's just got to use it. I mean, he comes away cleanly. You've got to be aggressive to hold your position.
Agreed. As we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
And they're off. Second in the two-path. Round off first inside. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Pimlico Racecourse. Naomi Tucker, Keith Fustel trying to pick you some winners on this beautiful morning. Race number 5 we're at here, 5.5 furlongs sprinting distance, claiming 10,000. And Keith, you got a ticket for us here, late pick 4.
You sent out that early email. You know, woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I'm doing an early pick 4. I said, you're doing it real early, aren't you?
It was because of Rip It.
Okay, that's all right. I need that early alarm, but no. So I said, you know what, we're going to do the late pick 4, and we're going to try to take it down. 5th race, I go 5, 6, 7. Doobie, Fast Cash, Frankie Merch. Good call there. I think Frankie Merch on the race, but going to bring speed to the table in a race with some questions. We'll get into that. Race 6, 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 5/8 on the grass. Fillies and mares, open 12-5, down to 10,000. That's a good competitive race there. I guess the horse to beat is going to be Lady Magica for Jamie Ness. Race 7, 1, 2, 3, like Clubman today, and wrap it up in the single. In race 8 with Doodat. Lasix going on off of a break. Dennis Arojo to the front. And hopefully see you later. There's your ticket, $22.50. Hammy is live today. Early and late, it looks like.
I'm trying to beat that single of yours, though. I have the Justin Nixon runner on top there, trying to get a bit more of a price. But your single yesterday, Miami Mumble, came in quite convincingly by about a furlong or so.
I didn't see it by that much, and I was hoping a little bit better price, but we did have a scratch out of there. So
yeah, let's hope your single is as decisive for you today as well. Race number 5, as I mentioned, sprinting on the main track. Both you and I want to go with the number 5, Doobie. Let's look back at his last effort here for trainer Anthony Ferrier. He was at the back end of the field, but then came up with a loaded run there on the outside. John Aller really had quite a lot of horse still in hand. Starts to come in, but quite sharply. You can see it here, though. Really starts to come in. He needs to be kept straight, needs that guidance, and hence I like journeyman Sheldon Russell getting on board. Yeah,
ranged up, went to that left lead, and hung. You know, it's been a tough meet for Ferrier, for Anthony. He's had a lot of success here on this circuit, and sometimes you just hit a little bit of a dry spell, and you're like, what do I need to do? I saw him the other last week. Well, he's just like, need something to change my luck. And, and suffered a brutal beat. The other day with Don't Dare Me, I think that was that claiming race. Munzano got the bob. But DB here, the move, drop is the right thing. If he just holds close to a 65 buyer, even of that lugging in tactic, he switches off to his left leg, he just might get by this group and get Tony back into the winner's circle. Yeah. It's like the lesser of two evils here. Doobie or Fast Cash. You've got a horse, Doobie dropping, Fast Cash dropping off a couple eased, comments, eased running lines. Really
so
tough.
I have some info on Fast Cash for you because I asked Anthony Ferrier after that last race what happened. I left him in that spot. he said Sheldon Russell came back to him afterwards saying the horse was running off and literally was trying to steer him around, ends up going really wide. Because I looked at that race and I saw this horse kind of go out of the picture, and you're wondering, where did he go? So that's my reasoning for putting this horse underneath, because Geraldo is going to have quite the task ahead of him. Apparently he's difficult to train in the morning, so very headstrong horse.
All right.
So John Geraldo is going to, I hope he ate his Weetabix, as we say in England this morning, and is feeling strong today.
Okay. I mean, he's a horse that doesn't have a slew of early speed, but he's shown the ability to sprint. He's run numbers high 70s, up to 79. But yeah, trying to figure out what's going on right now in the horse's mind, how he's acting. And we're guessing is handicapper. So Frankie Mersch goes in on the ticket. Speed from the outside, gets a scratch. A little help from New York One, who I thought was going to be fairly close. If he can outrun Swing Your Sword, I think he's off to the races around the turn. We'll see how far he can go.
Yeah, I use him here. As I mentioned, he was supposed to run on Friday for the nickel claiming level, so slightly higher here, but I think it's a similar field, and I like the way he managed to close on a muddy surface on his Pimlico debut. So I use him in my exacta, and then we both indeed use the number 4 as well, which is Swing Your Sword. Wide in his last couple. We just need him to break. We need him to show that speed again.
Yeah, he used to have it. Now, lately, it's been a little bit dull, so see if Carlos Carrasco can get him up and running.
Yeah, we've been looking for his speed in the last couple. Maybe he'll find it back today, but that's a maybe. Race number 6, 5 furlongs on the turf. Fillies and mares claiming $12.5 to $10,000. And Keith, you went deep in this race. This is a spread race for you.
You've got a big field. You always got to worry about some traffic, in these 5/8 grass races. There is some speed. You've got a questionable speed horse and a long shot in the 10 Archery Sensation. But I guess the consistent speed you can kind of depend on is going to be the 4, Lady Magica. She can be right on the lead, maybe just off the pace. She was willing last time behind a very hot horse right now in Olive Cat. So I've got to keep her into the mix. But, taking a shot with 2 closers. Rob Caceres, Alex Kazdan, and Forrest Boyce, they've been a pretty good team. They won a couple races the other day. Take Charge Tina, I went on the way back saying can Take Charge Tina close or maybe get 5/8 of a mile, and has a good race on the way go back in 2019 at 6 furlongs. Tactical speed going longer. If there's any rider that's going to be able to kind of get that trip at 5/8, turn it back, I think it's going to be Forrest Boyce, and the percentages for this trainer, the ROI, it's positive. So I'm looking. I'm going to need to be a contested pace, and maybe Take Charge Tina or even Al Ganadal, the 6 horse, can come rolling and get up over the top.
Yeah, so another one that rolls is the number 8, Buffs in Love. Quick turnaround, though. Rudy Sanchez-Solomon, 7-day turnaround, but he's pretty decent with those stats. 21% winners and 58% run in the money, so not too bad. And she tasted victory at starter level before. That was on the 1st of May. Drops down in class. And she's been holding her form at a variety of tracks, and I love that consistency from that 6-year-old mare. So she's my top selection in there, and then I use the number 4 underneath, as you mentioned, Lady Magica. Wonder if maybe the 10's going to pressure her, because if she's left alone, she runs off. Yeah,
I think if she clears like she did 2 races back, she is going to be gone. She's holding quite well in those races, even chasing the pace. She stayed on, so. She's probably the one you can kind of hang your hat on that should be around in that exacta in try. But I'm looking for a little bit bigger price. Maybe some things shake up on the front end, and the 1 and the 6 come rolling. Because the 6 on the turn back, I like the second off the claim, showed a little bit more improved speed on the dirt. Might hint to be able to stay a little bit closer, this time sprinting on the grass course.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So let's have a look at race number 7. Mile and 16 on the main track here. Optional claimer starter allowance. Did have a big scratch here. The number 5 Tusky would have most likely taken all of the initial money. So you ended up on Clubman. I had him on and off my ticket, I must admit. Drops down from that 2 other than condition, where he didn't run badly at all. So this seems like an easier spot for him to regain some of his sort of winning ways.
Yeah, and the morning line is really going to be, the odds are going to be really skewed after that scratch. These horses could move quite a different way, quite a different bunch of ways. I think Weather Whiz might be a slight favorite. Clubman's going to be down off of the 8-1. I should have showed this video. Blinkers went on last time, and when you're looking at this race, Naomi, I don't see a lot of true speed. When you break it down, I thought Tusk would be on the front. So Clubman, he showed gate speed with the blinkers. Victor opted to kind of rate him back in between horses, like midway on the first turn, and then he was hung wide against a slow pace. Tried to make a move into it in the far turn, and just kind of went evenly from there, but willingly couldn't really make up a ton of ground late. But that third place finisher came back to run an 84. I think with the blinkers back on today, let's be aggressive again. Let's go out and hold that position and avoid that wide trip.
Yeah,
He's coming back into form, it looks like to me.
It seems like he does. Now,
like
there's a
cycling.
couple of horses in here that you're kind of looking for them to get back to some of the figures that they've shown in prior starts. And one of them is also Weather Whiz, because I penciled in that Penn win on the, over Mao in 16 this distance, 3.75 wins, good 83 buyer, which I thought was going to be good to rival Tusk, who's not in here at present. End up using the number 7, My Good Man. I guess that's the only horse for Mari Epler staying in, because the stablemate, I was about to say. 35 days since that career best effort, but he won by that far that I don't think he's going to bounce from that, because he was kind of geared down there by Horatio Karamanis. Interesting sort of running style he has, very low with his head.
The anteater that we like to call it. Yeah,
it doesn't deter him from keep on going. Though.
No, and visually that was a major jump up. Now confidence should be back. That was a softer field. I know Manicamp came back to one to win, so she got away with that, protecting again. And talked to Mary the other day. Said this horse definitely prefers. I like him better here at this kind of distance to mile and 16. So yeah, My Good Man right back. Weather Wish should be tactical. Closer look is another part of the pace flow that certainly can hang around. He doesn't necessarily need to lead either. So it's a really, really close race when it's all said and done. But I'm guessing a little bit that Clubman is cycling back into form. I know he's 7.
You might be right
I'm
there.
reaching, but those blinkers, the way he showed that gate speed last time, kind of woke me up. We'll see.
Yeah, I like it. Race number 8, the nightcap here. Fillies and Mares, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds trying to get that first career victory, 5.5 furlongs the distance. Look, let's start with the fact that I'm trying to beat this number 4 here, Hamilton Smith, do that, because she's going to take all the money here. Field Truffle, I'm going for Justin Nixon. Second start after a year and 10 months off.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad start at all. I looked at the number that didn't come back as strongly as the Hamilton Smith runner, of course, but there was a winner behind her next out in that race. And she doesn't have early pace, but she was the only one chasing Paleo Sienna home that day.
Yeah.
And I thought if she can build on that, now being a 4-year-old, we're in business. And Justin Nixon is very sharp outfit.
Yeah. Lasix goes back on. He's done well. Obviously, with the maiden, scored a lot of maiden scores here the last couple of years in Maryland. I just think Dudette's just too fast. I mean, showed a lot good turn of foot in debut. As a 2-year-old, you're going back to September against Pretty Laurie. Tried to route, didn't want any part of that. But, also showed pretty good speed against a good group. Miss Leslie, we've seen her go on and do well.
Yeah.
The Lasix goes on. We kind of got a guy, Charlestown rider, can get these horses out of the gate. It's her race to lose on the front end and the aggressive drop in class.
It is. No, it truly is her race to lose, and that will be reflected by the price you're most likely going to get. You use Love Dust in your exacta.
Yeah, Love Dust, another one, dropping out of a fast race. They went very fast early. She slowed it down a little bit late, which kind of maybe exaggerated that close that she had that made it look a little bit better. But very capable barn here, second time out.
All right, well, that will be the races for today, but let's go with a little bit of lightning round to reflect on what happened yesterday. Of course, we start with the historic feature, Grade 3 Baltimore-Washington International Turf Cup, and what a treat of a race that was. Perhaps not the biggest of field, but wow, these two absolutely laid it down. Field Pass there on the inside, the grey, and Ramsey Solution, Wesley Ward on the outside. Didn't look like Field Pass was about to go past on the rail there. No,
Ramsey Solution, dead game. But I tell you what, maybe Victor owes the jock on the Ramsey Solution a little surf and turf dinner there. Allowed him to get through on the rail.
Yeah.
Bill Passmore, he was one of the greats here. He's no longer with us, but ended up being a story here in Maryland. He would have never let that happen. He was clear enough. Don't give that rail up in that position. I'm going to whine a little bit. I did bet on Ramsey Solution. Like that horse a lot. And
I know you did.
He was game. But man, just you gave him that path. And Victor, hey, to his credit, he took advantage of it and got the win.
And that was Victor's second win of the day. He had a stakes double. Also won the Sensible Lady Turf Dash. The number 6, Can the Queen. We can see that right there. He had to keep her straight though, and he worked for it, but got rewarded. Yeah,
showing a little bit further, just off the pace, but the key was the break. And last time out, she missed it. she rushed up and got involved in a pretty good battle and just faded. Different kind of filly there yesterday.
Yeah, no, terrific effort there. And I actually quickly wanted to mention, I didn't put that in the lightning round, and I should have, of course, the story in the big Dreyfus with Tightly Twisted, the number 3 there for Juanita Bennett. That was just, her stable star. What a phenomenal performance. I think she ended up paying $21.20 on the day, that 1 1/8 on the turf. So we had a couple of bigger prize horses come in.
Yeah, and credit to Jonathan Mendoza, was able to kind of sit that little pocket trip inside and just off of a slower pace, and really didn't have to, ask too much of her until about the 5/16 pole, and she responded and went on with it. Always rooting for those smaller stables, and when they get a win like that, that's just awesome. You saw the emotion that she had in the interview post-race with you. That was really, really good. That's what you like to see.
I couldn't be more pleased for her and the connection. It's always wonderful when it really, really means something.
Yeah. Yeah, putting a lot of time and effort, and smaller stables. You try to, and she thanked everybody involved. She was, didn't want to really take any of the credit. Yeah, that's good. Good for her.
And she was inviting anyone into the picture.
Beautiful.
Everyone that was there, all the connections into the picture. Remember Juanita Bennett saying, it doesn't happen that often, so we are all coming in here, and I want everyone to enjoy this victory. So that was one of the highlights of the day for me, for sure.
Very good.
As, of course, also JD Acosta recorded a hat trick yesterday, taking out the first race for trainer John Saltzman Jr. on Locomotive, and then he also won for the same stable on Scottsdale in race 5. And then we're looking here at his final win of the day in the nightcap on Extra Medium, and I'm sure that the person that had that Rainbow Pick 6 was very pleased with him too.
Absolutely. JD showing he can do it on the pace and off the pace like he did there with Extra Medium. Saved ground, eased out, and worked in between horses. Good trip there for Extra Medium to get the job done. Look like he's kind of getting back to his better form. He certainly likes Pimlico.
And he's starting to come within reach of the leader of the jockey standings, Charlie Marquez, as well. I think they're only about 3 wins apart at present. So he's really, really gearing up into form here as we'll wrap up the morning show here for the both of us. Dave Rotman will be on next. Stay tuned for some of the changes for today, and good luck, everyone.
Good luck.